Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Montreal. Maria Bartholdi and Reed Duke here for you. A couple of players on 11 and 2, Rich Hone and Lucas Siao here, both from Canada here in their home countries playing a Grand Prix. Boros versus Izzet battle, tale as old as time, fresh face recruit, first play of the game for Rich Hone, followed up by a Goblin Crater Maker. And you're taking a peek at these deck lists, Reed. What stands out to you?
Niv Mizzet.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we watched Lucas Siao on camera last round, and his deck is very, very good. Just really nice looking Izzet deck, topping out at Niv Mizzet Perrin. So he's in good shape, but Rich Hohen has the type of deck that can compete. He needs a good start, and he needs to win the game before Lucas can have time to play out all these cards, to draw into his bombs, to jumpstart all of his spells. And Rich with a good start here in game one.
Absolutely. We've got a Healer's Hawk hitting the table as well. Take Heart, gaining him a little bit of life and getting rid of a Fearless Halberdier. We Dragonauts, though, hitting the table with a +1/+1 counter on it thanks to that Guildmage's Forum.
So big turn here if Rich is able to take out the Wee Dragonauts or attack into it with something like a Sure Strike. It's going to be very good for him, but if he has to slow down his pace, then Lucas Siao is going to breathe a sigh of relief. It's going to be pretty good for the Izzet player.
Yeah, and only the fresh face recruit coming in that turn. Siao down to 14. Goblin Crater Maker and the Hawk stayed at home. Just a Guildgate for Siao. Back over to Rich. Boros, as you mentioned, with the tools to take care of a deck that might be playing kind of one card a turn or looking to ride Niv Mizzet to victory. 10th District Guard here is going to buff up the Goblin Crater Maker. And we've got a flashed in. That doesn't matter. Capture Sphere to tap down the fresh face recruit.
Rich Hohen, by the way, a former Grand Prix Montreal champion.
Oh, all right.
From, let's say, 2012, 2011, something like that. But he's a player who's been around forever. At various points in time, he has been challenged or acclaimed as the best limited player in the world.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't play as much anymore, but still a guy who's got some chops and can put up a good finish as he's showing this weekend.
All right, well, if he did it once, he can do it again. And both of these players right on the cusp at 2 losses here, both dreaming of top 8. Here's a Parhelion Patrol for Hohen.
Oh, he's blowing up the Izzet Locket. I love it.
Oh, that's great.
We're at a stage in the game where Lucas has stabilized, so what Hohen needs is for Lucas's draw to stagnate a little bit. If Lucas finds something like a Hypothesizzle, of course a Niv Mizzet, anything that can really dig him deeper into his library and draw him to his powerful cards, he's going to win the game. So Hohen needs to make sure that doesn't happen. Killing the Locket is a big part of that, and Hohen needs to hope he has a couple of good draw steps, basically out top decks Siao in the medium term, and this is a good start. Inspiring Unicorn.
Oh, yeah, I love this card. Excellent in Boros. And Celestia, for that matter.
But boy, if you're facing down an opponent with a strong Izzet deck, 6 open mana, and an untapped Wee Dragonauts, that's a hard situation to send your team into.
Oh, absolutely. All right, well, we are not going to worry about that now because the Izzet player is actually attacking. Siao swings in with the Wee Dragonauts and the Wojak Bodyguard mentoring onto the Dragonauts. Whee! All right, and Command the Storm is going to pump him up even more and take care of that Unicorn that was looking to be Hohen's savior in this game.
Siao taking a little bit more of an aggressive stance, and I think a big reason for making this attack is just to get the Mentor trigger to further pump up the Wee Dragonauts.
Yeah.
Good opportunity for Hohen to crack back, though. 5 damage.
All right, Sky Knight Legionnaire getting in there, turning sideways is what it does. Perfect Boros card. But Lucas Siao keeping the pedal to the metal here. In comes the Bodyguard. In come the Dragonauts once again. Leapfrog pass. All tied up at 9s. Let's see if Rich Hone still has some gas in the tank here, or if he's a little wary of that leapfrog, or some way to deal with it. And does he die on the crackback?
Yeah, this is a tenuous situation. The wee Dragonauts can represent a lot of damage out of nowhere. So Hoenn having to balance. Ooh.
Okay, Cosmotronic Wave. That's a good one.
It's mostly to kill the leapfrog.
Yeah.
But that's a good effect.
All right, kill the frog. I think he said move to attack.
Mm-hmm. We talked about that being a good habit to get into in Guilds of Ravnica Limited between Sonic Seizure, Artful Takedown, Legion Guild Mage.
Sonic Assault here from Xiao to tap down the Hawk. Gosh, what do you do? Play a land and say go, I guess. So that potential attack step completely stymied by that Sonic Assault, which has Jumpstart. So we've got to be careful of it. And here's Xiao continuing to be aggressive, casting it once again, tapping down the Sky Knight Legionnaire.
Yep, and that's game. 2
That'll
damage from the Assault, a trigger on the wee Dragonauts, and Rich Hone is down a game against Lucas Xiao.
Xiao takes it 1 game up. The Izzet League. All right, Boros on the play this time.
So we talked about Xiao with the Niv Mizzet, one of the most powerful cards in the format. Yeah. But Rich Hoenn and the Boros Legion not to be outdone. He's got Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice.
Really? All right. Aurelia versus Niv Mizzet. Sky Knight Legionnaire heads to the skies here for Rich Hoenn, who's had a beautiful 1-2-3 curve out in the deck that wants to do it the most. Boros.
Yeah, after a mulligan, but if I'm playing Boros, I would take a really good draw with 6 rather than an average draw on 7. And I think as we all learn the format a little bit, we'll pinpoint exactly how aggressive to be with our mulligan decisions and what we can expect out of a Boros deck. But here, Rich Hoenn's deck delivering pretty reasonably after taking mulligan on the play.
Oh yeah, that looks nice. Boros Challenger there. Who needs more than 3 mana? Nightveil Sprite on the table for Xiao, as well as Fire Urchin, which can be an okay blocker. Here we're going to get the Surveil from the Sprite. Sprite's been one of my favorite cards, for sure.
Definitely. It's perfect in a deck like Xiao's with so much late game power, just to smooth the draw and make sure that nothing's going wrong. If you get to make your land drops and cast your spells, you're going to win. So often with a strong deck like this, that Nightveil Sprite is just perfect, exactly what you want to play on turn 2.
All right, here we go. Turn them all sideways. We even get that Mentor trigger there onto the Hunted Witness, but there's a Sure Strike here from Xiao to deal with the Challenger and have the Urchin survive.
Yeah, still not a terrible exchange for Hoenn. He gets to hit for 6 damage, make a 1-for-1 trade, and the Challenger even leaves behind 1+1/+1 counter.
Yeah. Sworn Companions here, adding a little bit more to the board as Hoenn continues to go wide. Xiao's life total down to 9. Hoenn still at a comfortable 19 after a single hit from that Nightveil Sprite. Sprite, though, continuing to get in. The Surveil is just too good, and he's leaving it on top. All right, playing out 2 creatures here, pretty critical for Xiao.
Ooh, Cosmotronic Wave would look good here.
Oh, yeah, it would.
So again, this big moment of can the Boros deck continue attacking, or does it have to pump the brakes? A lot of it might depend on if Rich Hoenn found his 4th land.
Hoenn taking a moment to think here. for the play. Leapfrog and Piston Fist Cyclops are the last 2 plays for Xiao. Fire Urchin also back on blocks, but he is tapped out.
If Rich does not have anything, it's very difficult for these ground creatures to hit the red zone. 2, 3 toughness blockers. Not what he wants to run into here. If he has a single combat trick, then it's a difficult situation to navigate.
Looks like it's just going to be the Sky Knight Legionnaire hitting the skies there for 2 damage. See how down to 7. Goblin Crater Maker the follow-up.
So I think a lot of what Rich was thinking about on that turn was if he should use the Crater Maker right away. And there are some juicy targets, including this Night Veil Sprite, the Leapfrog, the Izzet Locket, which he blew up last game.
Yeah. Sprite once again swings in and surveils. Whatever Xiao drew this turn he wanted because he left it on top last turn. This one, however, into the yard, maximize altitude.
Looks like Xiao didn't change much about his deck between Game 1 and Game 2. Disdainful Stroke and Maximize Altitude are both somewhat sketchy cards against Boros. I think if he had good options, he might have considered swapping those out, but he's still both there after sideboarding.
Command the Storm takes down Sky Knight Legionnaire here. Inspiring Unicorn.
All right, well, Rich really crossing his fingers that that's going to survive to attack next turn.
Yeah, a couple of 1/1 lifelinking soldiers inspired by the Unicorn. Pretty good. Land into the bin off the Surveil from the Sprite. And a pass from Xiao.
Could he have Sonic Seizure maybe to stop the Unicorn from attacking? Okay, Capture Sphere.
Get in that Pokeball. Unicorn down. Yeah, Hoenn here needs some way to just break through, but what he's got are a lot of little creatures. Fresh Face Recruit.
Hoenn still has that one card he's been holding on to for a long time. I haven't gotten a look at it, but he does have 2 Command the Storms in his deck, which he maybe if he's just waiting on a 5th land for that, it could change the texture of this game a little bit. Even taking out one of those blockers could unlock a reasonable attack for him. And the good news is his life total is still high. He's not worried about losing the game, so he'll get at least a couple of more draw steps, provided Xiao doesn't find Niv Mizzet, which would spell the end.
Oh, yeah. Look at all those lovely creatures for Niv Mizzet to gobble up with its ping ability. Woo! Xiao a bit in the tank here.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, this is a close race situation where he has the ability to unload a lot of damage if he would like. Remember, he has Maximize Altitude in the graveyard, which could bring Leapfrog and another creature, maybe the Piston Fist Cyclops, to the air. But you just think about what happens if Rich does find a card that he needs, it takes out one of my blockers, how much do I have to leave back to feel safe? So navigating this type of situation is not easy.
Okay, so we are going to maximize altitude on the jump start here. What do we want to send to the skies?
So that's going to give Lucas 11 power on the table, 3 of the 4 creatures flying.
Yeah, Leapfrog gains flying here too, and Piston Fist Cyclops swinging on in with an additional +1/+1 from maximize altitude.
And look at this, prioritizing damage over the Surveil. It's going to prompt Hoenn to answer the Leapfrog.
Goblin Crater Maker makes a crater right over that poor little frog. So we're going to get in for 5, Hoenn down to 11. All right, Sonic Assault.
And now you see why Lucas is taking this aggressive posture. Sonic Assault, so good for a racing situation.
Yeah, that card is just also another one that has overperformed from my expectations. Tap something, deal 2 to you, jumpstart. Ugh. We talked about Izzet's ability all of this weekend to be able to kill from nowhere, and 9 life isn't necessarily nowhere, but well, hello, Niv Mizzet.
Oh no.
Welcome to the party, and Rich Hone can just see this all slipping away from him right now.
Well, I saw him pull a mountain off the top, so if he was indeed holding Command the Storm, it's not over, but this is bad. This is bad for him.
Right, Hohen flicking at some of his cards back and forth here. I think he's got some kind of a decision brewing right now. So at the very least, doesn't seem like it's totally over. There's the second mountain, and yep, there's the Command the Storm. So we will be able to kill it, but we're going to draw a card. We're going to take something down.
Have to imagine it'll be the fresh-faced recruit.
Yeah. All right, ping the recruit. Goodbye, Niv Mizzet. It was fun. 2 lands in hand for Xiao.
But there you see the power of Niv Mizzet. Even the worst-case scenario where your opponent immediately answers it with Command the Storm, it provides a 3-for-1 advantage, drawing you a card, killing off a 1 toughness creature.
Surveil dumps another land into the yard. Off of that Sprite attack, Hone down to 8.
So big turn for Hohen.
Oh, yeah.
If Xiao's play is to crack the locket here, then this is an opening. But Rich needs something to get past those 2 3 toughness blockers. Okay, just setting up for an attack next turn.
True Fire Captain. Great Boros card. Cracking the locket here. What does Xiao find?
Xiao still with Sonic Seizure in the graveyard, so that's going to delay the impact that True Fire Captain may have otherwise had on the game.
Well, he found another Capture Sphere and a Goblin Electromancer. Gosh, this Sprite is such value in this game. Another land into the yard. There's the Electromancer. And there is a pass. And Capture Sphere is going to lock down that True Fire Captain. Perfect answer for that card that you don't want to take out of the game with a damage spell. Parhelion Patrol for Hone.
Xiao getting very close here. 2 damage from the Sonic Assault, taking out a blocker, triggering the Fire Urchin and the Piston Fist Cyclops. He's not far away. If he still had to maximize altitude, it would be lethal.
Wojek Bodyguard.
Both players just setting up for a big turn. I'm going to imagine that Xiao's holding a land because he did play out a land last turn rather than saving it for Jumpstart. But remember, even a land in hand represents an additional cast of Sonic Assault. Very good in this close, tense situation.
Yeah, this game has been kind of razor thin for a long time here in the second half of it. Hohen needs to even things up to force a game 3. Keeping hopes of that top 8 alive. See how very slowly tapping a couple of mana here. Jumpstart. Tap down the Parhelion Patrol, deal 2 to Hone, goes to 5. Piston Fist activate. And the Sprite into the air. Surveil here.
Now, I think what's going on here is Xiao is just really, really valuing the Surveil, trying to set up a nice draw for next turn. I think he identifies that as his key to winning. Thing is, this Parhelion Patrol is actually quite a threat because it has Vigilance, and it can both block the Night Veil Sprite and attack for crucial points of damage while putting counters on those life-linking soldier tokens. So this is a big cost for Lucas to pay to tap it on his own main phase rather than waiting and tapping it before Rich goes to combat. But I think his logic was, I need to take a risk because if I make that passive play of tapping the patrol on Rich's turn and then I just draw another land, I'm no better off.
Wow, interesting stuff here. Hunted Witness goes down. Piston Fist Cyclops into the yard. Whatever Xiao surveilled was left on top. Ooh, it's Aurelia in Hone's hand.
Wow. So Aurelia going to give +2/+0 to a target. Trample if that target is red.
Vigilance if it's white. All right, there she is. Aurelia hits the table. Lucas Xiao takes a read. Looks like it's giving Vigilance there to the soldier token.
Mm-hmm. So the only bad news here is that the token's not going to gain a counter from Mentor, but 3 power is much better than 2 on this board, threatening to trade against Fire Urchin or Wojak Bodyguard, and, of course, provide a crucial life point swing.
Wow, what a great turn for Hone here. It looked like he was pretty well on the outs a few turns ago. And now with his big bomb on the table, 2 capture spheres out of Xiao's hands. And Niv Mizzet in the graveyard. Oh, it's a Sonic Assault. That's what he left on top.
All right, so this is a tense moment. Xiao is going to wait for Hoenn to choose his target with Aurelia. Then he's going to decide what, if anything, he wants to use Sonic Assault on. He knows he's not going to beat this Aurelia in a fair game, so he's looking to either find an answer to it on the top of his library or find a way to kill Hoenn, steal this game.
All right, so what is Rich going to target here with Aurelia's ability? All right, here we go. It was a Parhelion Patrol. Sonic Assault taps it down. He takes another 2, down to 6. Two lands in hand for Hoenn here. Just a couple of mountains.
So Xiao can produce at least 4 damage. If he uses Sonic Assault to tap Aurelia, he can attack with Wojak Bodyguard and Night Veil Sprite, Mentor onto the Sprite, so that's going to be 2 damage from the Assault, 2 damage from the Flying Creature. But Hoenn does have ground blockers, so the Bodyguard and the Electromancer are not likely to get in. And keep in mind, Xiao can't have both the Sonic Assault and a spell off the top of his library. So Rich needs to be careful here. That's not a lethal attack, according to the life totals we have on our screen.
Aurelia and the soldier token attack in. Xiao falls to 3. Hoenn bumps up to 8.
It is possible we misunderstood. We thought that Aurelia was targeting Parhelion Patrol, but we can't hear the players speaking to each other.
That's
Keep
true.
in mind this is a time walk match, so maybe there was a bit of a misunderstanding, and maybe the soldier token. No, I don't know. That was a weird turn. It seemed like Xiao, if he could have taken the damage and not lost a creature, he may have had a lethal attack on the crackback. So I'm a little confused by what happened.
Well, Richard Hohen has managed to get Seow down to 1 and then to dead here on the last couple of attacks from that game, forcing a game number 3 here in this Boros Izzet battle.
What a game. That was
wow.
A drawn out one, swings back and forth. Niv Mizzet came down, provided a large advantage, but in the end was met with Command the Storm. And then it was later on Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice, on Rich Hohen's side that ended up taking it down.
Okay, well, pretty cool to get a game 3 with both of these decks, which both seem really sweet. Excellent versions representing each of their guilds here.
Aurelia, by the way, not one of the parents, not quite one of the original guild leaders, but no slouch herself.
Oh, no. Lost her in the pre-release pretty hard. All right, here we go. Game number 3, Night Veil Sprite for Seow on 2. No play yet for Hohen, who's got a pair of tapped lands in the first couple turns of the game, which, you know, is a potential minor stumbling block for Boros, who likes to get out fast. Leapfrog here for Seow. Nice 3, and now no play for Hohen yet.
Yeah, this is an uncharacteristically slow start for his Boros deck. And the Night Veil Sprite, you've mentioned it, just such a good play on turn 2, providing this irreversible long-term advantage.
Yeah, and there you just saw Surveil to the top, which is never what you want to see. No play in the main phase, but back over to Hohen. Parhelion Patrol, and I have a feeling it's going to get Capture Sphered, and sure enough it is. All right, Frog and Sprite in. Surveil here, deal 4, Hohen down to 11 already, and this could be a fast one. Altitude into the graveyard, where it's just fine living, has Jumpstart. Electromancer here, making it, well, not it, but other spells cheaper.
The question is, can Rich Hohen claw back after a slow start? Does his deck have that capability? He does have some nice removal spells, but you got to figure with the Night Veil Sprite smoothing Seow's draw, Lucas is going to be prepared with a lot of answer cards.
And look at this, tapping down that Healer's Hawk at the end of Hohen's turn to stop the life gain and enable an attack in safely with the Leapfrog, the Electromancer, and the Sprite. Wow.
Wow, Rich is just taking it.
Crush Contraband here to destroy that Capture Sphere.
But that's a pretty tough way to do it after
Yeah.
having lost the creature for 2 turn cycles.
Oh, Disdainful Stroke. That's got to be the nail in the coffin here. Hohen at 3.
I think so, particularly with the Sonic Assault still in the graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
Rich really needs to have removal spells for all of Seow's creatures if he's going to survive this turn.
All right, Deafening Clarion, one time.
Selective Snare, cast for 1 mana off of Goblin Electromancer.
Bouncing the bird. Attack in. And there is the handshake. Lucas Seow defeats Rich Hohen here, advancing in the tournament here at Grand Prix Montreal. Congratulations to him. He was crowned King of Canada by Marshall and JVL last round, so I don't know what's above King, but he just did it, whatever it was. Both Canadians here at this Grand Prix. Nice to see them doing so well in the tournament.
Yeah, both these guys from the Toronto area, I believe.
Cool. Toronto's a great city.
Yeah, I quite like it.
All right, so that is Seow over Hohen, 2-1 here in our time walk round. And yeah, we're getting ever and ever closer to our top 8 here in the hall. really cool to watch draft all day today, and we've got another draft for the top 8 coming up. And Reed, I'm just curious to know if you have any thoughts based on what you've seen already from the drafters.
Well, I've been pretty impressed with these Izzet decks. I mean, sort of like it's obvious